Welcome back to the Head and Heart podcast, everyone's least favorite podcast. As always, I'm the heart, he's the head. Let's talk footy.
Yeah, first things first, we'll jump into accountability for last round. How did you go yourself last round?
Yeah, so I got a fat 0 from 7. And luckily, one of my bets got voided, which inevitably probably would have lost anyway. And I'm kind of glad for that. But what can you do? You win some, you lose some. How about yourself?
Yeah, had another good week. This week went 3 of 5 in the bets posted on the pod. Total profit of $224 from those bets. My total profit for the week being $315.45, due to some other bets that I placed, which you can find in the spreadsheet. Also to add for this week, all of my bets for this week are already in the spreadsheet. So jump in there, have a look at what I've got and where I've placed them. It'll be in the video as well, obviously, but you can always look back to the spreadsheet there. Let's go through each game of last round. The first game of last round being the Sharks Dolphins game. Is this a result that you expected?
No, not to be honest. I thought the Sharks would win comfortably, and the Sharkies seem to be really up and down, even though they're a seemingly dominant team this year. It makes zero sense to me how they could lose this, but they seem to lose the games everyone expects them to win.
Yeah, no, I think well, I obviously won my bet in this game. I had the Dolphins 1-12. I think it's my longest odds win this season on the post on the pod, so pretty stoked with that bet. I sort of gave my reasoning as to why I liked it. I think Nico coming back, I wasn't sure exactly how he would return, and he was sort of how I expected, and that he wasn't completely with it. And in that case, the Dolphins did scrape home late. It looked like they might have won by a lot more at one point in time, and then the Sharks came back, and the Dolphins ended up winning in the end. So, um, kept your heart pumping watching that game. But yeah, very happy to get a big win in this one.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know why, but I don't. Oh no, sorry. I had Sharks head to head in Mulatalo, but unfortunately, you win some, you lose some, don't you?
Yeah.
I was so close to winning here, and unfortunately, it was stolen by. I thought they were coming back, but they just never did. But
You literally had Sharks minus 19.5. So
yeah, you win some, you lose some, don't you?
pretty close, pretty close.
Yeah.
Um, the next game of the round was the Raiders Cowboys. Cowboys won 34-16. This is one where you were on the Cowboys as outsiders, so you picked that correctly, but where did your bet fall down in this one?
Yeah, so actually, I think this is another void for me because I had actually no, sorry, no, it's not. So yeah, I had Holmes and Tal Lungy to score. I don't know what's going on, but they seem to only be attacking down the right edge. If it's going to the left, Holmes is holding the ball. Unfortunately, Holmes did score, but no Murray Talangi. You win some, you lose some, as they say.
Yeah, for mine, I just didn't have a bet on this game. I probably leaned Raiders, so happy that I didn't jump on that one. Uh, yeah, I just wasn't really comfortable with jumping on either team in that spot. Like Raiders at home and Cowboys off some losses, probably looking to prove a point. So happy that I left that game alone. The next game of the round was the Rabbitohs versus the Broncos. What did you have in this one?
Yeah, so I had Oates, Johnston, and Mitchell to score. Um, this is a void for me as well, actually. I didn't realize that Goats dropped out late. So this is a void for me. As it turns out, Johnston and Mitchell both scored. I believe I put on a different bet and had Cobbo anytime, but unfortunately Cobbo didn't go over.
Oh, I was going to say it's almost a moral victory because Mariner, one of the
Yeah,
Broncos wingers, scored, and Latrell and Johnson. So you
you
could
win
very
some,
well
you lose
claim a
some.
moral.
It could be a moral victory, but I chose the wrong Broncos player in the sub, so I'm not calling that one. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah. Um, yeah, for mine, I had the Broncos in this one. I just thought they've been off a few losses, thought they'd bounce back. They didn't. This Bunnies team looks very good with Latrell, a bit of an origin addition this week. So, yeah, probably should have been a bit more careful betting on that one. But, yeah, you can't win them all. Um, Moving on to the next game of the round. This is a big result. The Tigers Titans game. The Tigers got a first win in a while. Uh, how did you see this one?
Yeah, I honestly thought the Titans would romp home. I don't know what's going on with the Tigers. They're finally good again. I personally had the Titans 13 plus with AKP and DFAP to score, neither of which did, and somehow they lost to the Tigers of all teams. You win
That's
some, you lose some,
one
and
had been voided as well. D Faf didn't play.
oh yeah, true actually. I still bet on this game though, of course, and it didn't get up. So I guess my bets have been voided, but I still lost a lot of money this round.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I like I said in the previous pod, not similar to some other bets, just not super keen on jumping on either team in this spot where they're both off a few losses and they're probably both desperate to win. The Tigers team at
Yeah.
Leichhardt, there might be a bit of extra motivation. They did come out and play well at Leichhardt.
This is the first time in a very long time I've seen the Tigers win at Leichhardt. Like
No,
I'm surprised they're not,
they
not
won like last year. I'm almost
against
certain.
Newcastle. They lost.
No,
They've only one
they've
game
played
against.
more than one game.
I
Well,
swear they've lost
one.
a heap of games there at Leichhardt recently.
Yeah, they have lost a heap of games at
Yeah.
Leichhardt, but they did win recently.
Ugh.
I remember them clearly winning.
I swear they haven't. Ugh. Let's look it up then. Leichhardt Oval. Anyway, yeah. So did you expect that to happen at all?
Yeah, so I basically was unsure on where this game would go, so I was happy not to play the game. And then yeah, like just two poor teams. It's hard to get a read. Two poor teams off a heap of losses. Hard to get a read of exactly where they're at. So I think those type of games probably best to just leave alone. It's sort of like all sorts of stuff can happen in those games. Um, yeah, so very happy to just leave that one
Yeah,
alone.
fair enough. So I looked it up as well. As it turns out, in round three, the Tigers put 30 points on the Sharks there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I knew there was a recent game. Yeah.
So anyway, on to the next game, which was the Wars v Storm, a massive hoodoo game for the Wars, never beating the Storm in Auckland, which is really strange. Did you see anything changing at all, or did you think Melbourne were going to win comfortably?
Yeah, I had the Storm in this one and yeah, they romped home. So I was reasonably confident in the Storm Warriors off a few wins against teams that were not in the best spot, I think. I think it was like a bit like how good they were is a bit was a bit overstated.
Yeah,
Like I don't think they were able to match it with a Melbourne team, and they obviously weren't able to match it with this Melbourne team. They started quickly though. They looked okay in parts, so there's some parts to take away for this Warriors team. But yeah, I'm very happy that I had the Storm in this one as well. I just also looked up the Tigers like up fixtures. They had that game against the Cowboys where they put on 66 at
oh yeah,
like
true.
so,
Forgot about that one. Didn't realize I was in Leichhardt. Yeah, that was a funny ass game.
yeah,
The fact it was a 130 point swing in the following one is insane.
yeah.
Yes.
What
So
about
moving
yourself?
on.
Sorry, in that game.
Yeah, so I had the Warriors head to head and DWs at any time. Neither hit, unfortunately. I believed the hoodoo would be broken, just didn't happen. So on to another hoodoo game. Eels v Roosters, 18-28 Roosters.
Yeah, for myself, I had the Eels +6.5, and yeah, at points it was looking really good, and I was very happy with the bet. And then sort of the Roosters started to run away with it a little bit at the end, and it just missed out. Probably the line was pretty accurate in this one. Like it wasn't a particularly good betting either side of the line. But what did you have yourself in this?
Yeah, so my bet was actually voided as I had the Roosters minus 19 and a half, Young and Manu to combine. I did put money on this. Again, same situation I'm counting as a loss because I went from Young and Manu to Manu and Polga to combine for three. I believe Manu got two, no, so Tupo got two. Ponga got one. Unfortunately, I missed out. You win some, you lose some, as they say.
Mm, yep. Um, yeah, not much more to say. The Eels still look good. I think the Eels are not a team to completely write off at this point. But the Roosters are very strong. The next game is the Seagulls versus the Dragons. You were very confident
14.
on the Dragons in this one.
Yeah, so my bet was effectively giving Zach Lomax head. I had Dragons minus 19 and a half. Lomax anytime try scorer. and Lomax 10 plus points. So Lomax got 6. He did score a try, but they lost by 16. So what can you do? You win some, you lose more in my
Yeah,
circumstance.
I had the Manly line, Manly minus 5.5, and I was very worried at halftime when they only had like 13 players left, or 14 players left, including the include players like Garrick that are obviously very, very good players for them. But they kicked on, which was sort of almost unbelievable. And yeah, easily beat that line. So I was very, very happy watching that game. And yet, very happy with my bet on that one. Um, who's to say if they would have won by more with a fully fit team, but they seem very fired up,
Yeah,
given the situation there.
yeah,
And
definitely
then
agree.
the
It was a
last
very
game of the
good
night.
performance.
Sorry,
It was a very good performance, especially with who they had out.
yeah. And then the last game of the round is the uh, Knights Panthers game.
Uh, let's move on from that one. We did actually though have this game helped us get our head and horse bet up. I
Yep,
believe it was 15.25. Is that correct?
15-48 actually, I believe.
15.48. That is absolutely huge. Dolphins 1-12, your side, and none other than the first try scorer being my pick, Fletcher Sharp. Don't you just love to see an absolutely massive leg get up like that?
Yeah, yeah. Absolute
Yeah,
bang. I think that might be the highest odds head and heart bet we've offered so far, and that one got up. So
of course it
think
does.
think we're starting to
Oh
heat
dear.
up in the head and heart bets
We
here.
were
And
so due, and it's finally up, and I'm so happy about this one.
yeah,
In regards to the game itself, though, Newcastle actually put up a fight, which is really surprising.
yeah,
I still think that Jack Cogger needs to be punted into the sun. He was directly responsible for about 10, I think maybe 3 tries. Get rid of him, like just ban him from rugby league at this point. I don't even want him playing in the real NRL. Um, I think I can call this on a moral victory, and if not, Jack Cogger owes me money.
what was your
Agree,
bet on
disagree?
this one?
So I just had the Knights head to head and sharp anytime.
Yeah, moral victory. Sharp score, Knights
Yeah.
like robbed. So
Yeah, quite well, not robbed. We just lost it based on the performance of a single player.
yeah, no. I was going to try and get to this game, but the game sold out, so couldn't get to the game. But it was still a thrilling one to watch. We looked really good in parts, and I'm excited to see where we go in this sort of next 5 to 6 round run before
Yeah,
Pong gets back, and then yeah, Pong back will be obviously a
yeah,
massive
huge.
massive inclusion.
Yeah,
Um,
so to get through next this, we just need to get through this week. If we get 2 points, I think we're pretty smooth sailing from there.
this week on the
Yeah,
bye.
it's not a guaranteed points anymore. The buy's looking pretty good.
um, Yeah, no, but so obviously the head and heart bet smacked for this week. So might be a good time to start jumping on the head and heart bets if you haven't already. But
Mm.
let's talk side bets as well. For this run, this was the last week of this run of side bets. So we had 4 to give yourself the chance to get up on this one. The first one was Sharp versus Sailor, Supercoach, and you got up on that one, so you were
Yeah, it should be
still
worth
alive.
triple points because it's a Knights player. Like the fact you just disliked him that much, I'm quite disappointed.
Well, we're talking trades a little bit later, and we can get into Sharp when we talk
Yeah,
trades as
true.
well. Um,
Yeah.
and then the next one was the Storm versus Warriors, which the Storm won, so you've already lost. But then the Eagles
Of
plus
course.
11.5, I won that one, and then Seagulls, I won that
10 points
one.
is hilarious. That's ridiculous.
Well, this is why you don't take the extra line. I told you to take the normal
Mate,
line.
I am more than willing to prove my point, and I will fall for my sword with that one. But it didn't get up this time, but it'll get up next time. So you
Nice,
did it.
nice. But yeah, so you've lost this round of side bets. Drop a comment what this should be. We're obviously going to change it up from the milk and whiskeys that we were doing.
Yeah,
So
you liked that drink.
yeah,
You sort of said like you enjoyed the drink after you had it. It wasn't even
yeah.
a
So
punishment.
we're changing it up. We're going to get you something that you don't enjoy. So
I have to like wipe my ass with sandpaper.
yeah, something like that. But leave a comment.
Yeah.
And yeah, the best comment we'll go with.
Ugh.
Yeah, make it something weird. No, we'll see. Uh, let's touch on our Supercoach ranks. So what do you score and where have you moved to in the ranks for this week?
Yep. So I got 1094 total. I am now currently sitting at 36,889, up about 1,000 points.
Yeah, I had one of those.
1,000 places, apologies.
Yeah, nice. I had one of those bang your head against the wall weeks. I was doing very, very well. Um, you know, had players like Jerome Hughes that I brought in last week, Britt Nicker, I get a 120, and then Captain Garrett for a 9. So
Yeah,
uh,
just be one of
ended up
those.
ended up on 1,018 score that could have easily been, almost a 1,200 sort of score. Um, if Garrett didn't go down there, so down 1.5k places, to 17,438, which is
Ouch.
which is annoying, but we'll push on through these buy rounds. I expect to pick ranks back up, especially this week with some of the trades I'm making. But firstly, let's talk best bets of the week.
Yep.
Origin coming up. We're filming this on a Wednesday. Origin's in exactly a week. Do you have any tips or best? This is sort of unofficial best bets. We'll try and release
Look,
some best bets next week as well. But
yeah.
anything that you
If you're
like?
putting on anything other than Blues 13 plus, then you aren't a New South Welshman. So Blues 13 plus, and I have to do it, but Zach Lomax to score as well. I love my daddy.
Yeah, rate it.
Yeah.
I rate it because yeah. So just talk betting logic in this one is where does the motivation lie, right? New South Wales, uh, I realistically, Queensland will be thinking that they have game 3 at Suncorp like pretty much locked up. You'd be very confident being Queensland going to game 3 at Suncorp, so there wouldn't be as much motivation for them to win this game in Melbourne. Whereas New South Wales series is just completely over if they don't win this game, so they'll be going all or nothing. So I expect, just from a betting point of view, you would expect New South Wales to have the motivation edge here and to get up. You look at that team as well. I think the team is vastly improved from game 1. I'm a big Dylan Edwards fan. I think he offers a lot more than Tedesco does in the way he plays, because Tedesco likes to get his hands on the ball a lot, and I don't think he does as much with the ball as he should. And then Edwards is going to
Yeah.
offer a lot of meters and other aspects of the game out of our own end. So big fan of Edwards, and then obviously Latrell coming in the form that he's in is going to be a plus. And then yeah, I like the makeup of the bench as well. I'm not a fan of a 4 forward bench either. So Connor Watson, I mean, obviously Connor Watson's a forward, but I mean like a 4, like
Yeah. I get
stock
you.
standard forward, not Connor Watson that can offer a bit more positional coverage as well. So
Yeah.
big fan of the players we've picked in this one. So definitely we'll be jumping on New South Wales. I don't know if it'll be 13 plus, but New South Wales will be the way that I go. Let's talk NRL betting now. Let's jump into the most anticipated segment of this week, the head and heart bet of the week. Take it away with what that one is.
Yep. So we've got the Raiders at a line of -4.5. We also then have the second leg being Aden Vanilla Blake at $6.83. I like the chances at that price, don't you?
Yeah, I think that smacks for sure.
It's surely going
Um,
to be comfy. You've got
yeah,
the most have you've got the one front row forward who's scoring tries. I can't see him not stopping scoring tries, so
yeah,
don't you just love it?
yeah, and that sort of plays in, I think, to a lot of our bets and trades for this round as well.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Talking just personal best bet, you could sort of guess it's similar to the head and heart bet of the week, but my best bet for the round is the Raiders -3.5. You can find that on Bet Deluxe at $1.87. I'd still take the 4.5 as the best bet of the round. Sorry, the head and heart bet of the round. States. In terms of why I like the Raiders, Raiders off a loss, Tigers off a win. Raiders team isn't as affected as it may have been due to Origin. Huddy Young still there. I don't actually think they have any outs for Origin. So just a big fan of this Raiders team against the Tigers team. I don't think are necessarily good. They just came up against the Titans team in a really bad spot, missing,
Yeah.
obviously for feeder and not fully with it at the moment, not playing very well. So big fan of the Raiders in this one, looking to bounce back. What about yourself? What's your best bet?
Yeah, look, we're going up against a weakened. Sorry, the Warriors are going up against a weakened Titans team. I think the Warriors are going to be absolutely dominant after what happened last week. And I am going to believe that every single double barrel player scores. So I'm going RTS, CNK, AFB, and CHT to all scored for 141 to 1.
So I just want to call out, you could go to Mari Martin, TMM, and
Oh,
he's
yeah, okay,
actually
yeah. Hold on one moment. I'll actually put him in there as well. Uh, yeah, so let's find out how much it is. I'll do it later, but yeah, here's
fine.
the bet on the screen.
Yeah, I'll have it on the
Um,
screen regardless.
that
So
is my this is my best bet for the game and for the round. Actually, I think we're going to see a lot of points and we're going to see a lot of double barrel tries.
yeah, I was gonna say you can go to Mari Martin because he's actually starting instead of CHT because CHT is off the bench, but you can also just add them in. That'll be about 1,000,000 to 1 after you
Yeah.
add that leg.
I might
Um,
put on
but
two bets actually, one with TMM and one with CHT as well as TMM. So I could end up earning myself a house deposit depending on if he gets up or not.
yeah, yeah. And if anyone else wants to buy a house, invest
Hmm.
responsibly into that.
Yeah, get on hard bet.
Yeah, nice. Let's talk trades for this round. For myself, I'll be up on screen now, but I'm going to Bell into AFB. DeBellin's been a bit poor through the previous couple of rounds. I thought after the 2 rounds ago he would pick his score back up, but he just had another stinker. Um, that's not to say that DeBellin can't do well through this period. It's more that I just want to lock in AFB. He's going to be one of my front row forwards in the run
Yeah.
home, and so I just wanted to trade someone in that I can lock in, and obviously he's playing this round as well. My second trade is Drinkwater to Pappenhausen. I know there's a lot of talk around some of the other fullback options, Tedesco and Jaden Campbell, but I like Pappenhausen in this one. If you're looking at it in isolation, Tedesco is like almost 900k, he's 800 something k, I think. Pappenhausen 690, and then JC is around 640. I'm always happy to pay 50k to go from JC to Pappenhausen in isolation. In isolation, I mean, like, you just think about like which player you're going to have. You want Pappenhausen right out of those two.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I get that.
The Storm are going to perform better, and then Pappenhausen's going to
Yeah.
perform better out of that. There's obvious caveats to that because, like, if the Storm are coming first by a long way, they could rest Pappenhausen at the end of the season, all that type of stuff. But I'm happy to take that risk at this point in time. And then, yeah, no Tedesco. Tedesco still a good trade in, but I have heaps of Roosters players, so not really keen to jump on Tedesco. What about yourself for this round?
Yeah, look, I'm not going to make any trades at all. I'm very comfortable with my team. I think it's got enough players. I've got 13 or so playing. I think they're okay in quality. So I am more than happy just to sit back, relax, and watch my boys play this week. It lets me save for the big moves right at the end of the season, assuming I'm going to make the eight, which I'm pretty sure I am at this point. So yeah, I'm just happy to sit back and relax.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess if you've got the numbers, it's probably not a bad idea to save trades, but that is pretty crazy going into a buy round that you don't have to make any trades.
On
Um,
the heart, I am crazy.
I'm just saying it's crazy,
Yeah.
like it's rare more than yeah, like it's
Sometimes
not
you
a
just got to
bad thing.
think ahead of the pack. This is my way of doing that.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, definitely. You definitely need to bank trades. I banked barely any, so it's not a bad idea. Just in terms of best trades this round, is there anyone that particularly stands out to you?
Well, now that we know Fafita, it just isn't playing Origin this year, which is absolutely bizarre to me. I think he's a lock to get your team.
Yeah, yeah, I have to agree. For feed, I've already have. I'm probably going to captain or vice captain this week. So yes, I can agree. He's definitely someone you should be jumping on. Aside from that, and the players I've already mentioned, Jerome Hughes is someone I already have, and I'm a big fan of. Went up 67k, but still worth a trade in for mine. Next player down, so Tedesco obviously is a good trade in. But next player down in this list is Ruben Porter at 204k, starting in the second row this week for the Tigers. How do you feel about it?
Ooh, that sounds very handsome. What's his average before? What did he get
He's
last week?
averaging 30, but he was coming off the bench.
Is he guaranteed that spot though?
He's not guaranteed the spot. He'll go back to the bench eventually, but like that's not he's 200k.
Yeah, I guess it's true. I wouldn't mind him if you're not going to play him at all. I think it's a great thing to do. But
Yeah.
do you really need a cheapie at this point in the season?
yeah, that's sort of my thinking with Porter here. I don't hate it if you're trying to free up cash, but this is the point of the season where you should be looking to make trades to avoid
Yeah,
having AEs because you just will not be able. You get to a point where you're like you're the player that's missing out. So like your 17th best player
yeah,
um, is very strong. So your AE if your AE is 10, it'll be like a 65 to a 10, and you can't
yeah,
afford that
yeah. No,
realistically.
you can't at all.
Yeah, you'll just never be able to loop. So there's
Yeah,
that danger with Ruben Porter when he goes back to the bench and he could be averaging a 15, 20. You're trading in that type of player. But I don't mind it as a short term play if he's going to go to like 450 or something, make it quick 200 to 250K, and then you flip him, for someone else from there. But I think
yeah,
it's a risky play. But if you've got a clear plan with it, then you can go there. Popolati at the fullback, hey, still like form well, but Tommy T is still coming back. Like it's
yeah.
not,
He'll be back eventually. That's the problem with him.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
I hate that trade in.
yeah.
And then
Again,
other players like your Ellie Catellas, I'm going Adam Phil Blake and Pappenhausen. Like they're all solid trade-ins for this round. Can't really make a case against them. And then you start to get into people like a Jordan Rapiner and Jermaine Osako, which I'm not a massive fan of, and someone like a Jaden Campbell, I'd much rather just go Pappenhausen. So
the problem with Rapiner is he can score, yeah, and he has done this. He can score 150, and then the next game he can score 10. Like
yeah,
he is possibly the most inconsistent player in the league by
yeah,
far.
yeah,
Like he has the attacking potential of a god. It can also just let people walk through. It's
yeah,
bizarre to watch.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'd rather take an Osako for an extra 100K than a Rapiner, definitely.
Yeah.
With
For
the Dolphins.
me, my biggest trade though will be next week. I am looking to get big boy Fletcher Sharp into the team.
Yeah,
Love to
yeah,
see him. I'm probably gonna do a direct trade for him from Armstrong to him. I assume Armstrong's probably not coming back this season.
yeah.
It's rather annoying, rather unfortunate, but it'll save me about 200K, and it means I can possibly go to DPAP or something like that as well without even worrying.
Yeah, for mine, I'm happy to talk Sharp, and I'll take it a step further. I'm trading in Sharp next week, probably for Blaze Talangi. Talangi is 600K, and he's going to play next week, so he'll start to lose money from next week. So I'll bank that 400K, and then the week after that, I'm going to go Nico Hines. So I can use some of that 400K to get to Nico Hines.
Yep.
Um, in terms of the plan with Sharp, the dream situation is you just hold and then trade straight to Ponga when he gets back. Um, that's a wait and see. Obviously, plans can change, but that's probably the goal with Sharp, and it's a very easy sort of plan to set in
Yeah.
place there.
Yeah.
So yes, I can definitely agree with you in terms of moving to Sharp. And we both probably agree that we prefer that over a Hopper one too.
Yep.
Um, let's move into the games though. The first game of this round is the Dolphins versus the Storm. Supercoach wise, we've already touched on a few players in this one. Uh, would you be targeting Storm players at this point in time?
I'm not entirely sure. How many buys do the Storms have now? Do they have the one or do they have two?
I think they've had. I mean, they've had at least one, but
Yeah.
uh, they've had two. I think. Yes, they've had
Okay.
two.
Yeah.
Round 4 and 13, and then they've got a 19 buy, which is a little bit annoying because that's the major buy round. But only one buy left. I think they're a decent team to target. It depends what you're doing with the players. Like I've still got Wishart, Hughes, Pat. I'm probably looking to move off Wishart uh, for like a round. I don't know. I don't know, but like I'm looking to move off Wishart at some point. Um, and yeah, where that ends up, I'm not sure. But you've got to be um, on top of what you're looking at with your Storm players. But I definitely don't mind them as a target right now. Is there anyone else that sort of stands out to you in this Storm team as
Well,
someone
I
to
think
target?
the obvious would be Jerome Hughes as well.
Yeah,
I've been kind of keeping wraps on Eli Katoa as well. He seems
yeah.
to be doing really well. I think
Yeah.
he's around 650. Is that right?
He's 744K at the moment.
744. Okay, yeah, he's doing absolutely massive work. He has an awesome base stats and he's scoring pretty regularly. Like I'm considering getting him as well, but again, I'm not sure if he's worth the trade at this point.
Yeah, no, I can definitely get around a trade. Like he's going to be a season long hold. Um, yeah, averaging 75, you can't really go too wrong. I'm just like not trying to jump on right now. I've already got Dave
Yeah,
Fafita and Britton Nicker, and then I probably want to have Gus Crichton as my 1, 2, 3 second rows sort of
yeah, fair
into the
enough.
run
Make
home.
it
But
understandable.
I can definitely get behind people jumping on Eli Katoa. Um, Yeah, in terms of the Storm team, I think it's fairly obvious, the players to target your Pappenhausen, Hughes, your Eli Katola. Pappenhausen, we'll touch on a little bit more in depth. His injury, obviously, he's back sort of earlier than expected from this injury. But the NRL physio has sort of stated that he'll be fine coming back as long as he's named to play and he does play. I
Yeah,
don't see any issue. So we have the benefit of knowing that he's in the first game. So if there's a late scratching, you can always um, fix. You don't have. It's not a difficulty moving trades around and stuff. So I'm happy to jump on Pappenhausen now, knowing that there's little re-injury risk. And this Storm team's absolutely humming.
yeah. Yeah, no, I'm kind of hesitant with Pappenhausen. I would like him in my team, but I'm willing to wait another week. That's also mainly because my other fullback is Trey Fuller, who is
Yeah,
probably getting his last game of the season. But how good to see Fuller back at fullback.
yeah, yeah. If you held him, then yeah, you're
I'm absolutely cheering right now.
for
I
this
am like,
round.
yeah,
What's his break even? Do you know?
I have no clue. It'd be something somewhat low, I assume.
Yeah. But yeah, like you can very easily jump off after this round.
Yeah.
Yeah, break even 30. So he'll go up a little bit more and then you can sell and make some money off him there. He hasn't been as good as people might have hoped, but he's been still very good in that position. In terms of other sort of Dolphins options, Max Plapp is one that a lot of people have. He had a decent score on the weekend. Would he interest you at all?
Max Plath, again, I just think he's kind of peaked in value. I know he's scoring decently, but I just think there's better options there, like in the second row.
He's 544K and he does cover 16 and 19. I
Mm,
think his only buy is 18, so that's not one of the major buy rounds. So you're not really like he's got really good coverage over this period. Break even of 30. Um, that doesn't tempt you.
no, not really, to be honest. I just think it's not worth the trade at this point.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it really depends on your team, I think. Like
Yeah.
if you need a second row forward or a 5'8" desperately, then I can get around it. But yeah, I can agree that it's not worth going out of your way to
Yeah, yeah, no,
trade Max Player.
definitely.
Yeah. Aside from that, not too much to touch on in either of these two teams. As players like a UNA are consistently sort of good, but Supercoach wise, like
It's just too late for them. Like, sure,
yeah,
if you had them at the start of the season, you'd be absolutely cheering, but
yeah,
now it's just way too late. It's same with, I guess, somewhat with Mark Nichols as well, who's scoring decently, but he's probably way too late to get on. He's not scoring enough consistently. Yeah, I think every player here we've kind of touched that's somewhat Supercoach relevant.
Or last one though, I'll chuck a obviously Jermaine Asako like is going to be a decent option, but I'll chuck a more rogue one in Herbie Farnworth to see interest you.
It depends on how much ball he gets. They kind of seemed a bit allergic to giving it to him last week, but
I mean, last couple of weeks he's scored really well, so he's got
I guess it must be inconsistent.
he's gone last 3 weeks 88, 72, 121. So
Yeah, I think I might not have been watching the footy, to be
yeah,
honest, when he
3 round
posted that.
average of 93.7. So
Yeah, so completely ignore what I said. I just realized I was actually out of the house during that game, so I've got no clue what I'm talking about and probably
yeah,
shouldn't be on this potty, to be honest.
but I
Please
think
leave the hate mail down there, down below.
700K, I think he's a bit priced out
Yeah,
regardless.
no, he's definitely priced out. Like those are good scores, but you can't expect him to do that consistently.
Yeah. Let's talk best bets in this game. I'll let you take it away because this could be your lowest odds best bet.
Yeah,
Uh,
so call me the head because I'm just going Melbourne head to head at $1.49. I'm playing it safe. I've lost too many bets recently. I just want one to get my dopamine back up, and then I'm going to go absolutely nuts.
I'm almost tempted to take you on. as a side bet just on that. I actually no, fuck it. I will take you on as a
Head
side
to
bet.
head. Fuck yeah, let's do it. Head to head Dolphins. You're in the Dolphins, I'm in the Storm.
Yeah, yeah, let's do it. But I probably owe you one from all the stupid like extra lines you've taken. So
Yeah.
I'll take the Dolphins head to head. That sort of leads into my bet a little bit more sensible. I've got the Dolphins plus 6.5. You can currently find that on BetR at $1.85.
That is quite
Um,
literally a better bet than
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that one's in the spreadsheet there already. I'll just quickly talk to why I like the Dolphins. The Storm missing a few players, obviously, uh, Harry Grant out due to Origin, and then they're still missing Munster. So a spine that's not obviously, and Xavier Coates as well. Spine that's not as strong as it could be. And then I don't see the outs in the Dolphins as massive outs. Hammer covered by Trey Fuller, and then Felice Kafusi.
Yeah.
Don't even know how he got picked for Origin, so don't see that as a massive out. Also, Xavier Coates I see as a big out for the Storm as well. He offers
Yeah.
a lot aerially, so
True.
um, yeah, just really like the Dolphins if you're getting over a converted try in this spot. While I did say I'll take one as a side bet head to head, I don't know necessarily they will get up head to head, but the game's in Suncorp. It's not in Melbourne, so a trip for Melbourne. And Melbourne probably public opinion is too high on them after such a massive win on the weekend, whereas it may not be as high on a Dolphins team that looked patchy in parts of the games against even though they won and they looked, hot and cold in the game against the Sharks. So happy to take the Dolphins plus 6.5. Let's jump into the next game. The Titans versus the Warriors. Two teams off a loss, almost probably an unexpected loss if you look at the
Yeah.
odds on the
Both pretty
weekend.
unexpected to be honest, but what can you do? These kind of games show what a team's made of. Like you need to bounce back after that. So can they do it?
Yeah, plenty of Warriors players that start to become Supercoach relevant. We've already talked to some fullbacks, but Charles Nickel Klogstad, is he someone that would interest you? No, I know
What's
he's
he
averaging very well this year.
what's his average at the moment? Because he might just be a bit priced out for me, to be honest.
He's currently priced at 750, averaging uh 80.4 for the season, 3 round average of 87 as well. So
Yeah, look, I don't mind that to be honest, but I'd rather go with Pappenhausen, who I think has got a better chance of scoring more points than CNK. He
yeah,
won't necessarily, be scoring better every week, but Pappenhausen, when he goes big, he goes far bigger than CNK. That's
yeah,
my way of thinking anyway.
yeah. I mean, it really just depends on your risk aversion when you're playing
Yeah.
Supercoach. Obviously, Pappy has higher highs, but he's also got lower lows than
Yeah, it's very
Pappenhausen.
common for Pappy to get 40s. So it's just a thing that happens. But he also scores 120 the following week.
Yeah. I think in the run of the games they got I want Pappy in this period. I
Yeah.
can see some serious upside in his scores, so happy to take that. We can probably breeze over players like an Adam Blake, a Dave Fafita, because
We've
they're
talked about them to death at this point. Like
yeah
it's
obvious
TMM,
trading.
same thing.
Yeah,
It's good to see Chris Randall back at like hooker though. It's pretty funny that his halfback adventure's finally over.
yeah. Let's one we can talk about though is Jaden Campbell. If you actually watch the game, he looked excellent on the weekend. But he scored a 77, I want to say,
Not
something
bad.
like that. Yeah, 77.
I mean, that's
Break even of
really good when
seven,
there's. Sorry, I was just
486K.
yeah. Well,
Would he be
that's
someone that interests you?
he is, but he's playing 5'8". I just want to see him like put a couple more scores together at this point. Look, 5'8", especially teams that don't score a lot of points, even though the Titans seem to score a lot of points a lot. But if you're scoring 77 when there's only, 12 points your team scores, that's a very good score in the circumstances.
Yeah, yeah. Um, he originally was in my trade. Like I traded him in, and then Pappenhausen got named. I flipped over to Pappenhausen, so
Yeah.
definitely can't knock anyone moving to JC in this one. He is at a very nice price. My sort of plan was that I would bring him in at fullback and then eventually trade Wishart to a fullback and flip him up to 5'8", have him as my 5'8" two. Um, which I think is a very viable plan for a lot of people. Uh, I may even change my mind and flip to him at the end, like by the time the game round opens this week. It's got a change in ownership of 1.2%, 4.4% owned, so he still is a pod for this season. But yeah, it sort of just comes down to how you think the Titans are going to perform.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
In terms of other options, though, um, you know, there's a few people jumping on like a Wade Egan now that he's fallen in price. I'm not a I haven't changed my hookers since like round four, so not one for me, but I can see the appeal. Um, anyone else sort of jumping out at you in either of these teams?
Neither, to be honest. It seems like everyone's like we said, we've covered basically everything we need to in this game. It seems like the players that you want, and there's no real other options there.
Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty obvious watches like SJ, for example.
Yeah.
141 break even at 600K right now. Like we could if there's a world where SJ has another poor score and he falls to,
Hmm.
five 500, like, something really low, would you be jumping on SJ?
Definitely. I think SJ could bounce back, but I'm unsure. I'm sure there's better options out there, even if he does jump that low.
Yeah, I mean, obviously halfback is a stats position, so you're playing a risky game if you jump on him.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh,
And there's no guarantee he kicks either, which makes it really hard for me to get back on him.
yeah, yeah, I think he's just a close watch moving
Yeah,
forward.
definitely. Wait and see. So
Yeah,
speaking of, why is Dylan Walker named at 12?
I think, well, they're short on back. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I would have thought you just play Jackson forward at back row.
Yeah, sure, he played Jackson Ford though. Even Tom Ale put him like there for 40 minutes or something.
No,
It's
yeah,
a very weird pick to me.
I would play Jackson forward at back row and then, rotate just
Yeah,
forwards they have there. Like, it seems a weird one to me, but like Dylan Walker is solid, but
yeah, it's weird to
I
play
don't
him
get
at
it.
12.
Um, let's talk bets in this game. Obviously, you had your best bet of the round in this game, and it was about 1 billion.
Really
Um,
the one. In fact,
Warriors try scorers.
I'm actually going to
One.
change the bet again. Same bet, except I realize there's another double barrel name in this game. So AKP as well. This bet here.
You're getting a
20 bucks.
Titans, getting AKP as well.
Yeah. Actually, so side bet here. I'm going to say at least 4 out of the 6 double barrel names score. Are you willing to take that?
Definitely.
Definitely. So CNK, AKP, RTS. He's not actually double barrel builds to account. TMN, AFB, and CHT.
Yeah.
Are you willing to take at least 4 of those score?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, I'll take that on.
Fuck me, I love my footy.
Four double barrels.
Mm.
Um,
If
yeah,
they all score, I win the series. We don't do this anymore.
sure. This round of side bets is done.
Yeah,
We'll both, if they all score, we'll both just do a fuck. We'll do whatever the forfeit is for
yeah,
this
fair
round.
enough.
So yeah, obviously you've talked to your bet. I'm on the Warriors as well. I'm on the Warriors -5.5. You can find it on bet365 at $1.91. But you can find that on most bookies around that price. The Warriors obviously off a big loss on the weekend. I think they'll be very, very keen to bounce back in this one. I expect your players like SJ and some of those players that have been out to sort of warm back into their role a bit more in this game. And yeah, I think they'll be fired up to run over this Titans team. Yeah, the Titans team still lacking a bit through the middle, I think, with Tino out. And then also you've obviously got some small bodies in Jaden Campbell or Keanu Keeney that could get run over. So
Yeah, it's very
have to
likely to run up.
get behind that head and heart bet of the week with AFB. I'm obviously trading in AFB as well. So yeah, Warriors -5.5 is the bet, but yeah, big on the Warriors in this game.
Fair enough.
The next
So,
game,
sorry?
so I was just going to jump into the next game.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it time to go to the next game, being
Yeah,
the Roosters v Bulldogs? Do
Yeah.
we see do we see this game being the exact same as last time? The Roosters get revenge here. Who knows?
Obviously, this is a Roosters team that's missing players. Yeah, Connor Watson got called in as well, so
Yeah,
they're
but look at their
missing.
back line. It is a good back line.
Yeah, but they're obviously missing Angus Crichton, Connor Watson, Lindsay Collins, Spencer Leniu, Michael Jennings out, but that's not a big deal. Um,
Yeah, but
yeah,
one
like
through seven, that is a better team on paper.
yeah, one
Like
through seven.
every single player is better.
I mean, I take Matt Burton.
Burton over Walker? No, Burton
I
over
take
Kira. I don't know about
Carraz
that.
over Polgar.
Yeah,
Oh,
true. Actually, I did forget he was in there. I take it back, but on paper, it's a far better team.
yeah, the one through seven obviously is far better, but the pack
Yeah,
of the Dogs is strong, and I definitely take like a. Well, I mean, the pack's not that strong actually looking at it, but I definitely take a Reed Marnie over a Brandon Smith. I definitely take
yeah, fair
some of
enough.
some of these other players in here.
Bro, it's so unfair that they've got four players out, so they call up Sia Wong and Satili Tupianua from reserve grade. That's not fair.
Yeah,
That is so unfair, and they still aren't starting them either.
yeah, cheat code.
So that
Um, but yeah, no, let's just break down the teams here. Obviously, Tedesco, highest traded in player. You a fan of bringing in Tedesco this week?
I don't mind it to be honest. But again, to me, there is still very much a chance if Edward goes down that we could be seeing Teddy again. To me, I wouldn't be doing that trade until I know for certain that Dylan Edwards is starting for the Blues. Like I'd be waiting until 5 o'clock, maybe 5:25 p.m. to trade him in, just to make sure that something else doesn't happen.
I mean, like that's yeah, like obviously if that happens, then you cross that bridge when it comes to it. But
Yeah,
Dylan Edwards is locked into this team now, so I can get behind
yeah, but
trading
I
in
heard he's got some
Tedesco.
weak hamstrings. Like he could just end up falling over or something and have to go off. Like
True,
mid park training. I just don't trust it.
true. I'm just more not trading in Tedesco because of the price and because I have heaps of Roosters options at the moment, so it does limit myself in that respect. But yeah, like if you don't have a lot of Roosters options,
Yeah.
perfectly fine trading. Um, yeah, like aside from that, a lot of these Roosters options, I think, like your Joey Marnie, Dom Young, Sam Walker, Terrell May, like they're all just a hold for now.
Yeah.
I'm going to look to start shipping some of them off though. Sam Walker, I'll move to Nico probably. I'll probably hold Joey Manu and Dom Young just because they both have that massive upside, so you can play them both on matchup. So probably
Yeah, they
holding.
don't really seem to steal too many points off each other either, which is really interesting to see.
Yeah, yeah. Terrell May, what would you be doing with? Do you still hold Terrell May?
I think he's just a lock for me. Like I'm just gonna keep him till the end of the season. Like unless
He's,
he does
no,
something
he's
really silly.
yeah. I mean,
So
his scoring is incredibly inconsistent, scoring like 27s and stuff. Does that
mm,
doesn't concern you?
I don't start him at this point unless I know he's going to play about 40, 50 minutes. I just don't bother. So if he starts, I play him. If not, I don't bother, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to have him for this round, but I might look to move off him after this round, but it's a tough one. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely hold for this round at least. Then it's a
Yeah.
figure out what we do after that. Um, in terms of the Bulldogs options, is there anyone that sort of stands out to you?
I mean, not really, to be honest. I think we've spoken about who the big Bulldogs players are. We know that probably Matty Burton's the big player. Max King's getting some decent points. I did like Reed Marnie as a hooker, to be honest. I know he's got that kicking potential. Like he can score a bunch of extra points, given he is for some reason that kicker like in the field. Other than that, I'm not really sure if anyone really sticks out to me.
Yeah, Reed Money does have that 40-20 potential. He's been averaging 65, so not the worst option, but a lot
Yeah,
of these
he's a decent
players.
upgrade.
Yeah, a lot of these players that you would be looking to trade in are probably right around their average. So no one really a slam dunk. Like your players like your
Yeah,
Matty Burns at 720, like your Reed Marnie at a 640. Like I think that's bang around their what they're averaging. So um yeah, can't get behind any of those trade-ins particularly. But yeah, probably Tedesco's the obvious one. Don't really need to speak more to that. Um, let's talk betting in this one. What did you have in this one?
Yeah, so to be honest, I didn't really have time to actually go through this game prior to the potty. So I just copied your bet. Do you want to say why you put on this?
Yeah, so I got on early and got on the Bulldogs plus 12.5 on Ned's and Ladbrokes. That was before the teams were dropped. Obviously, Matty Burton ended up not being picked in the Origin team, so was able to jump on when I heard that news. This line's now dropped to 7.5. So the 12.5, very happy to be on that one early. The 7.5, less keen on, but yeah, 12.5 is way too many points for a Bulldogs team that beat the Roosters team last time they played them and have been playing and defending very, very well
Yeah,
over recent times. It's just too big of a line, basically.
yeah, fair enough. Feeling
Um,
easy.
the Rabbitohs versus the Seagulls is the next game.
Sucks. This is the second last game of the rounds. I hate these short rounds, to be honest.
Yeah. Obviously Cam Murray and Latrell Mitchell picked for Origin.
Yeah,
And then yeah, I like this
yeah. DCE, Hamole, Gerbo, Garrick's out with a concussion, and
Paseka.
Paseka, was he injured with the HIA as well?
He was one of those like four that they had last
Yeah.
week that
Oh,
were
that's right.
sort of
That
ruled
was
out.
ridiculous. Like, it was really sad to see, but I was like kind of hoping, like, can you get like another player? And I don't mean to say this like bad, but I just wanted to see what would happen if a team played with 12 players due to injury for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
Like, surely you'd be absolutely fucking screwed. Like, how did they win that game?
yeah, yeah.
They had,
Pretty
for a while, they
pretty
had no
crazy.
players on the bench because I think, was it Sipley came off for a while?
Yeah, yeah. Um, Luke Brooks captain, big
Yeah,
for the
Luke
big for
Brooks.
the big for
That
the
is
minute rate
absolutely
there.
massive. They have two guys debuting off the bench. So I think Condon's played previously.
Condon's played previously, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the other two guys.
Malone,
They're
yeah,
Aaron Shop is debuting for no, he's not debuting for the club, is he? No.
I don't think so. But yeah, like
Yeah,
the
what's his
team
name?
is pretty haphazard. Like you know, Carl Lawton in the halves, and they had
Yeah,
that.
that's fine.
I heard that Humphreys was meant to play in the halves, and they didn't name him. So that seems very
Yeah.
weird line.
Okay, but what does Bong Parker have to do to get a start in this squad? Half the team's injured and he's still not playing.
Yeah,
Like they moved him to the second row in reserve grade, but surely he's good enough to get a go at like fucking 14 or something.
yeah, yeah. I'm not really a fan of this.
Manly will rue this day, I swear. They will rue the day they don't pick Bong Parker and end up having all their second rowers injured because of it.
Yeah, nice. Either way, I'm not really a fan of this much of the Seagulls squad in this one, but we can talk to some of their players. Obviously, Garrick, we both have. Um, what are your thoughts on Garrick? What are you doing with Garrick?
I'm just gonna hold him. Like I assume he's only going to be gone for the 1 week, even though
Yeah,
it's a cat one. He actually apparently he passed, and then they took him off anyway because he
Cat
had a
one
cat
is
one.
just Cat one. You're just gone
Yeah,
or
because he got knocked
automatically.
out cold. So he's recovered fine apparently afterwards, but because it's a cat one, like he was knocked out cold, like
And he could have
stumbled
delayed.
around.
He could have delayed
Yeah,
symptoms as well.
yeah,
So
true.
yeah, there is that. But yeah, Garrick just a hold. If you don't
Yeah,
have
he's
him,
definitely
he could
hold.
be a very tasty trade in a couple of weeks when his price drops a bit due to this low score. So it
Yep,
will be a very nice pickup for people that don't have him in a couple of rounds. So definitely one to watch in a couple of rounds.
definitely.
Um, yeah, I mean Hopewadi highly traded in. Kyle Lawton at 300k. Would he interest you at all?
Well, how long is he going to be playing there for? He's going to be playing in the halves for one, maybe two games,
One.
depending on how if DCE backs up. Like it's not worth it. He's going to score good one game and then go back to the bench.
Yeah, like these sort of players that are like a lot of these trade like lower percentage trade-ins, like your Jacob Gaggai's, Colin I'm like, Colin is an interesting one, but yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of these players I can't really get behind too much. The only one that sort of is a bit interesting is Hopewadi, and we've
Yeah,
both sort of spoken to why we don't like him. We prefer a Fletcher Sharp for next week. And I think it's a waste of trades if you're going Hopewadi this week into like Fletcher Sharp next week. So
yeah, definitely.
and you want at least one gun fullback. So yeah, Hopewadi is a no for me, but um, maybe people will prove us wrong and go on him. Let's talk betting in this one.
Yep.
What did you have?
Before you do though, I'm just going to say this now. I think Manly have got a very weak middle for this game. I think the Bunnies are going to score through the middle, which is why I'm willing to bet Sean Keppie, he's going to score a try. Do you want to do a side bet on that?
Yeah, sure. Oh,
It's going
yeah,
to come on.
we need to write all these side bets down because I'm not going to keep up with how stupid they are.
Mate,
Uh,
there's nothing wrong with it. So we had it was the head-to-head game
yeah, Dolphins
being
Storm.
Storm. Then Titans was it was 4 of 6 minimum double barrel names to score, inclusive of TMM.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, just four double barrels to score.
Yeah,
Um, um, and then
Sean
maybe
Kepi anytime.
we'll make it the same as last time, like one versus auto.
Yeah.
So stupid. Uh, but yeah, let's talk betting because I guess that sort of feeds into both of our bets. What did you have in this one?
Yeah, look, this is a very bad Manly team that's playing. It's struggling for parts at this point, to the point where, like we said, Carl Lawton is playing at halfback.
Yeah,
Um, if Ethan Bullymore is your starting prop, that's not a great sign. So I am going to go Raiders, sorry, not Raiders, Rabbits 13 plus with AJ anytime at 340.
yeah. I'm sort of in agreement with you there. I got an idea of all the players that would be out before the team list would drop. So I got on the Rabbitohs -4.5 on Dabble at $1.88 before teams were dropped. I think that's at least 6.5 in most places now. Probably would still be keen to take the Rabbitohs 6.5, but getting under that converted try is a very key number, and I'm very happy that I did get that number. So yeah, very keen to be on the Rabbitohs in this week. Don't really need to speak too much, but they're looking really hot. The players they have out, like Latrell obviously has been insane. You can't really replicate
Yeah,
that. But Jai
of course.
Graves obviously is a very good
He's a
footy
good
player.
player.
Yeah. And Cam Murray wasn't even in when they had the
Mm,
like he's at Cam Murray's only played one game. I think they have good cover for Cam Murray
yeah,
in
no,
this
definitely.
team. And then yeah, obviously the Manly team's absolutely decimated. So
It's not good.
really like the bunnies in this one. Um,
Yeah, get on it then. Go Bunnies 13 plus. Be a man.
I might actually. I might follow you in there.
Cheeky
To put a little tickle on the bunnies
devil,
13
whatever.
plus as well.
Yeah,
Um,
cheeky little devil.
Tigers Raiders is the last game of this round. Obviously, the shorter round. Tigers at home off a win, and Raiders coming off a loss. It's at Campbelltown. Um,
More like Poople Town. Have you been to that stadium? It's just awful.
I
Like it is
haven't
so bad that it is being rented out to the other Sydney team in the A League for $1 a year.
really.
Yeah, that's they had no one else there. That's the only way they could get them there.
Yeah, right.
What is it called? The
Um,
MacArthur Bulls.
yeah, in terms of Supercoach, we've we obviously briefly touched on Jordan Rapana, but he obviously kicked those two field goals for them. Is he someone, if he comes to into like being able to make plays like that, is he someone that would interest you at all?
Look, I spoke about it previously. He's a guy who's way too inconsistent for Supercoach. Like, sure, he can have a ridiculous day. Like on his day, he can score 140, 150, but he's going to average about 50 every game. And there's games where he can just get 10. Like for me, he is just not Supercoach material.
Yeah, yeah. Ruben Porter, we've already spoken to. Um,
Port man.
kind of yeah made a case as to why it's not not necessarily a trade in because he's at AE risk, but I can understand it if people are trying to make some quick cash. Steph Otoikamanu is decently traded in 550K. I don't know about you, but for mine, just find the money to get to AFB
It's
or
not worth it, no.
yeah, go someone super cheap. I
Yeah.
don't really like it. He's not a season long hold for mine. Happy Coruscant, Samuela Fainu, Joey Tarpany. Any of these names sort of screaming out to you?
Tarpany maybe, but again, I don't think he scores consistently enough to be a super coach pick in my mind.
Yeah, he obviously had that massive score to like in the second last game that he played, that 110, and then he dropped straight back down to a 58. So
Yeah, to
that's
me,
probably
I
more
would
what to
much
expect.
rather, I'd much rather Hudson Young over a Tarpany. I think Hudson Young, if I was to pick a player in this team, for out of this game to have my super coach team, I'd pick two, being Hudson Young and Apasau Coruscant.
Yep, Coruscant. Yeah, obviously Huddy Young does have a massive break even, so he's less of an option for this week to trade in. But if you have him, like you could,
It's told him he is a final boss player kind of thing, especially now that he's not playing
yeah,
Origin.
yeah, I think he could score very well in this game. I think he could actually easily beat that break even. Especially speaking to the bet that I have, which obviously was my best bet, but the Raiders I've got in this one. Yeah, like Appy Coruscant always going to be a good trading, a decent trading line, so I can get behind people getting around him, but yeah, like not too much else in this game line. Um, let's talk betting. What did you have and why did you have it in this game?
Yep, so I think the Raiders run away with this. I know Tigers won last week, and it's a Tigers home game, but I think the Raiders on paper are a far better team. So I'm going Raiders 13 plus, and the bloke I mentioned previously, Huddy Young, to score at 575.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. I think that's a very good chance of getting up. I just have the Raiders minus 3.5, but as I've already spoke to, betting logic always states that uh, a team off a loss is generally going to be more motivated than a team off a win. And
Yeah,
I do think this Raiders team is better than the Tigers team, so I'm very happy to take negative 3.5. I think it's negative 4.5 in a lot of a lot of spots, which I would take as well. But make sure you're hunting for the best odds if you're going that negative 4.5. Is there anything at all else for you to add from this round? Obviously, this is a bit of a shorter pod
shorter
because
round, shorter potty. Yeah, look, not really. I don't. It's going to sound a bit. It's going to be a little hard to do this one, but would you be willing to take a side bet on the number of dummy half scoots in which Danny Levi has held up over the try line?
I don't. Are you gonna watch the game? And, like, let's
Yeah, I'll
get.
have to start counting them. Yeah, it probably is actually probably not a great idea. You are right there,
And I
but
have also just have no idea how to like conceptualize what that number would be.
I'm going to say 3.5 for the potty listeners. If
I'll.
it gets
It's
up
not a
into
side bet, but I'll say that it's under. But like,
under 3.5, yeah, so fair enough. But if he scores, it still counts. But I think he's going to attempt it at least four times.
yeah, I honestly have no idea. I know he does it, and I would be comfortable to say he does it twice, but 3.5 seems high.
That's
But
why it's going to be funny when it hits.
yeah,
It'll be like
uh,
10 or something.
that probably wraps us up for this week. Obviously, um, this is a week where people are going to be, you know, trying to make a few changes to cover for this round. But like you said, you've not made changes yourself. It's a good idea to be saving some trades if you can, and then obviously the round 17, 19, 20 are going to be difficult rounds. So make sure
Yeah,
you're looking ahead.
certainly.
Make sure you're planning effectively. Um, make sure obviously this week you're using your loop effectively. You get a free loop this round on your VC. Uh, if you have any questions about that, drop them in the comments. But um, yeah, obviously trying to maximize our ranks through this period, and yeah, hopefully we keep pushing on in bets and our super coach ranks. Anything else to add before we go?
No, I think we're ready to end.
Cool. We'll go fuck ourselves then.